Most people have fond memories of the Attitude and Ruthless Aggression eras. Sometimes it felt like anything could happen. However, with the promise of a fat check from the toy industry came a kinder, gentler WWE known as the PG era. But every once in a while, the WWE would push things a little too far for that kid-friendly rating. And we're not saying that's good or bad, we're just saying it's surprising. I'm Senior Siete here for 7 Wrestling, and let's take a look at 7 more times the WWE forgot they were PG. Now, before we get into this, we appreciate your support, so if you enjoy this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and frog splash the notification bell. Number 1. You're in for a surprise. The charismatic Enigma Jeff Hardy was well known for having his fair share of demons, which is very unfortunate because a clean Jeff Hardy could have been one of the top names in the business. And during the latter part of his WWE run, it became commonplace for heels to use his past against him. In the lead up to Backlash 2020, which was headlined by the greatest wrestling match ever, Randy Orton against Edge, naturally, Sheamus insisted that Hardy take a drug test before he would sign the contract for the bout, and because it's wrestling, he insisted that drug test be administered in the wrestling ring. As the lab technician was testing the sample, and wow, what a sample! My goodness. Hardy would take the glass and throw it in Sheamus's face and hit the singer, saying it's better to be pissed off than pissed on. Heyo! And before you say that throwing a cup of urine isn't really that raunchy, know that Sheamus's embarrassing moment was edited out of the West Coast broadcast of the show because it failed to meet Fox's standards and practices. Oh, and before we move on, know that this whole segment was a beat-for-beat remake of something that had happened to Shawn Michaels back in 2006, even down to the pissed off, pissed on catchphrase. Number 2. Shayna's snack. Shayna Baszler was always going to be a tough sell on the main roster. Her gimmick seemed to boil down to being a less charismatic Ronda Rousey without the mainstream MMA career. In the build-up to her title match at WrestleMania, they knew they needed a hook. They tried having her tie the record for eliminations in the Women's Royal Rumble, but that didn't quite do it. She'd also later win an Elimination Chamber match by taking out every other competitor, but that didn't do it either. What we're talking about today is what happened in between those two events on the February 10th, 2020 episode of Monday Night Raw, where Baszler would attack the then-champion Becky Lynch from behind. That checks, she's a bad guy. From there it was ground and pound and the Kirifuda clutch. That checks as well, she is an MMA fighter. Then she proceeded to bite the back of Becky Lynch's neck. I'm sorry, what? There was absolutely no precedence for this kind of bizarre action, and honestly, why the back of the neck? So many questions. At any rate, for a company that had done their best to avoid blood, there's Shayna parading around with it dripping from her mouth. And yeah, I'm sure in this instance it was fake blood. Sorry, predetermined blood. It was weird, it didn't get Shayna over with the crowd, and it definitely was worlds away from being PG. But hey, kudos for trying something new. Number 3. Raw Underground. Speaking of trying something new, Raw Underground was a concept that debuted on the August 3rd, 2020 episode of Monday Night Raw. It consisted of matches in a seedy back room, where the ring had no ropes, and there were very few rules. A super original concept. That is, if you're unfamiliar with Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. Anyhow, Raw Underground didn't last particularly long, even with the inclusion of main roster talent such as The Hurt Business, Dolph Ziggler, and everyone's favorite neckbiter, Shayna Baszler. Apparently, selling fake fights as more real than the other fake fights you're selling is an awkward concept to get across. But what lasted an even shorter amount of time than Raw Underground were the Raw Underground Dancers. The debut episode featured scantily clad young women bumping and grinding to the generic beat. The trio appears in the debut episode and then promptly disappears in the second, which makes sense as it's tough to promote the women's revolution in hour 1 and then see this in hour 3. Number 4. I Lobe You. Oh hey, it's Jeff Hardy again. There can't be anything grosser than tossing a creepily full glass of number 1 at someone, can there? Oh, apparently there absolutely can. You see, the charismatic Enigma has ear gauges, which are jewelry that extend your earlobes for reasons, I guess. I'm not judging. I just know that I could never do that because then my mask would fit funny. But back on topic, at some point during his career, Hardy started to think outside of the box in his matches and came up with, hey, Why don't I let guys do horrific things with parts of my flesh? And horrific things were done. In 2018, Randy Orton placed a screwdriver in Hardy's lobe hole and twisted it in circles. Oh, gross. And according to Hardy, he had to go with even bigger gauges after that stunt because of the stretching. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. Oh. Then in 2020, Sami Zayn handcuffed Hardy's ear to a ladder so he could win the Intercontinental title at Clash of Champions. I'm sorry, this isn't for me. Let's move on. Number 5, Malfunction Junction. Eva Marie might be one of the oddest personalities to ever be considered a WWE superstar. If the important parts of being a talent are having the right look, having charisma, being good on the mic, being good in the ring, then Eva really only had one of those 4 traits. And don't get us wrong, the one she had, the look, she did really well. But more than anything, she was on the roster to be a part of E's Total Divas reality show. But the point of that show was that these gals were wrestlers, so she'd have to step in the ring eventually, and for some reason, in 2016, they made it part of her gimmick that she was doing things to get out of wrestling. She had a minor injury, or she was stuck in traffic. But on the August 9th episode of SmackDown, she was in the ring and ready to rock and roll. We were finally going to see her wrestle Becky Lynch, and yikes, a bit of a wardrobe malfunction there. Well, at least Becky was amused. But to be honest, wardrobe malfunctions are more of an Attitude Era thing. At any rate, the fellas got to see a little bit of skin and nobody had to watch Eva Marie wrestle, so this whole deal feels kind of like a win-win. Number 6, Ortons Voices. It's really weird that Randy Orton and Triple H became buddies again during their Authority days. And no, not because Triple H threw Randy Orton out of Evolution and stole the World Heavyweight title. And no, not because Triple H invaded Randy Orton's house and beat him up. Well, yeah, obviously because of those things, but also because of what happened on the March 29th, 2009 episode of Monday Night Raw. The cerebral assassin had just received a 3-on-1 beatdown at the hands of Randy Orton and his legacy cronies, Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase. And when Triple H's wife, Stephanie McMahon, came to his aid, she received an elevated DDT for her troubles. Yikes! Male violence against women happened frequently in the Attitude Era, but in these times, it was practically non-existent. And as if that wasn't bad enough, Orton would follow this up by kissing her on the mouth. Yikes, followed by an ick. Fortunately, Triple H would get revenge over Orton in the main event of WrestleMania 25. Unfortunately, nobody ever talks about that match because Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker completely stole the show. Number 7, Live, Laugh, and Light Up. This might seem like a weird final entry after all the scantily clad women and violence we've been through, but smoking is quite taboo on television. Now don't get us wrong, it used to be all the rage. Even Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble were cool with lighting up back in the day, but now it is very rare to see it on any TV show, PG or not. So that's why it was so odd when R-Truth decided to smoke a cigarette after dropping a match to John Morrison. The current, maybe kinda member of Judgment Day would bum a cigarette from a nearby fan and proceed to blow smoke on the Shaman of Sexy. A London crowd would chant, "That's illegal" at R-Truth, but apparently smoking isn't illegal in public places in London if it's in the context of a performance. But that wouldn't stop them from cutting the segment out of the broadcast. Well, that's our list. Did we forget about any non-PG moments the WWE has had recently? If so, leave them in the comments section below. Also, if you enjoy this video, like it, subscribe to the channel, and pedigree that notification bell. Until next time, I'm Senior Siete for Savin Wrestling saying bye-bye.